The Story of the Mad Hatter. "I think," said the Mad Hatter, as he took a large bite out of a thick slice of bread and butter, "I think it's time we gave a tea party." "Who shall we ask?" inquired the March Hare. "Alice, I suppose." "Of course," said the Hatter. "If she hadn't found the way to Wonderland, no one would ever have heard of us. So the party will be in her honour. Now, will you wake up the Dormouse?" "All I want to know," said the Dormouse, "is whether I have to dress up, or may I wear my pyjamas?" The Hatter and the March Hare decided that it would be allowed to wear pyjamas. They told the Dormouse, who promptly went back to sleep again. As the Hatter and the Hare were writing out the invitations, they caught sight of the Cheshire Cat's grin. "I thought," said the Cheshire Cat, "as it was tea time, I'd give you a look in." The Hatter spoke up. "It's always tea time, or at least it's always time for tea, which amounts to the same thing. Except when it's bedtime," murmured Dormouse in his sleep. "If you have your tea in bed, then bedtime is tea time too." The Cheshire Cat ignored this. "What I need to know," he said, "is how many legs do you think I have?" "How many legs? That's a silly question," said the Mad Hatter. "Is it?" said the Cheshire Cat. "Well, I have 2 forelegs, which is 8, and 2 hind legs, so that's 10 legs altogether." The Hatter shook his head. "I've heard of the cat o' 9 tails, but never the cat o' 10 legs. If you were a caterpillar instead of a cat, it might be different." But the Cheshire Cat was slowly disappearing. He had a habit of appearing and disappearing, and all his friends were quite used to it. "Do you know how many O's there are in Dormouse?" asked the March Hare, busy with the invitations. "Wake him up and ask him," said the Mad Hatter. "How do you spell yourself?" said the Hatter, as the March Hare poked Dormouse in the ribs. The Dormouse squeaked. "Oh!" "Only 1 O," said the March Hare. "Thank you." The Hatter was still puzzling over the Cheshire Cat's legs, and he was relieved when the final tip of his tail finally disappeared. He waited a few seconds to see if he would appear again, but he didn't. "I've made up a bit of a poem," said the March Hare. "If you like it, we could put it on all the invitations." And he read out his poem rather proudly. "This comes from the Hatter, the Dormouse, and me, who all respectfully ask you to tea. The tea's in the teapot, the jam's on the bread, or if you prefer it, there's jelly instead." "It's true about the tea," said the Mad Hatter. "I put it there, so I ought to know. But the jam's in the cupboard." "Well, it will be on the bread, won't it?" said the March Hare rather crossly. "There might be someone who doesn't like jam," said the Hatter. "In that case they'll have only bread and butter. And what if someone chooses to have only jelly?" "As far as I know," said the March Hare, "there's only one rhyme for jelly, and that's stomach," said Dormouse in his sleep. The Hatter and the March Hare stared at Dormouse. His eyes were shut tight, and he certainly looked as if he was fast asleep. "Talking in his sleep again," said the Hatter. "Since he's almost always asleep," said the March Hare, "is just as well, or he would be a dumb Dormouse." "Dumb Dormouse, dumb Dormouse, dumb Dormouse," said Dormouse in his sleep. "Well, to get back to these invitations," said the March Hare. "Do you like the poem, or don't you?" "I do," said the Mad Hatter, "and I've written one too." "One too," said the Cheshire Cat, suddenly appearing again with a big grin. "That's 3. The Hatter and the March Hare watched as the big grin spread into the full appearance of the Cheshire Cat, right to the very tip of his tail. It seemed that now he had decided to appear for quite a while. "Well, here is my bit of poem," said the Mad Hatter. "See what you think of it. You can come when you like, fix your own date, for we're always at tea, whether early or late. Though we've nothing to offer, but quite simple fare, we remain, with best wishes, Mad Hatter and March Hare." "It's going to be a mad sort of tea party," said the March Hare. "Well, what would you expect?" said the Mad Hatter. "I would expect a mad tea party," grinned the Cheshire Cat, "so I'm coming for sure. In fact, as I appear to be here, I might as well stay." The Hatter and the March Hare laughed so much they wakened up Dormouse. "Here we go, then," he said, rubbing his eyes. "Another party. It's always party time around here."